So Indra was so insecure because Bali Maharaj was performing 100 Rajasuya sacrifices. And if he performs those 100 sacrifices, then he can become the next Indra. So Indra was very insecure, and then he approached the Supreme Lord that, my dear Lord, if Bali Maharaj, he is a Daitya, he is a demon. So if he becomes Indra, what will happen of me? So then Vishnu was like, okay, fine, don't worry, I'll take care of it. So then Lord Vishnu appeared as this beautiful golden child, Lord Vamanadev. And there's such a beautiful picture of Lord Vamanadev that has been described that as soon as Vamanadev appeared to Aditi and Kashyapa Muni, he came as this golden child. He had golden hair, which was tied up in a top notch, like a little bun he had around his hair. His eyes were so beautiful, elongated lotus-like eyes, lotus-petaled eyes. And he was fair complexioned, very, very fair. His lips were reddish. He had a beautiful moon-like face. And he was so small. He was a dwarf, tiny, tiny little boy. And he had a little cane umbrella, and he had a kamandalu in his hand, a water pot in his hand. And he had beads, little tiny beads in his right hand, left hand holding the kamandalu. And his lotus feet were so soft, so tiny. It felt as if his lotus feet could shelter the entire creation, but at the same time so fragile, so delicate, so tender. How could both of these two opposites come into one was getting confusing for his parents and anybody who would see the beauty of Lord Vamanadev. It was so beautiful. And his lotus feet was especially so captivating. They were so tiny, so tender, so delicate. But anyone who would see those lotus feet, those reddish lotus feet, they would feel that, oh, if I just sit here at the lotus feet, I will be sheltered from all dangers of this world. Those lotus feet were able to, had the potency to shelter the entire creation, but at the same time so delicate, so soft. And Vamanadev, he wore this deer skin, and he was so tender, so fragile, so beautiful. He was like a porcelain doll, so beautiful, Vamanadev. And when Bali Maharaj was performing his 100th sacrifice, the last sacrifice, after which he would get the post of Indra, at that moment, Vamanadev walked into the sacrificial arena. And he came there and he just shouted out, Bhiksham Dehi, please give me some alms. And as soon as Bali Maharaj heard that, it is said that a perfect ruler, a perfect king, Srila Prabhupada explains in that Srimad Bhagavatam purport, that he says that a king is only qualified to do or engage in sacrificial sacrifices, in engaging in sacrifices, only when each and every person in his empire, in his kingdom, is completely satisfied, that they have nothing else to ask, which means that the brahmanas have been fed very nicely, everyone has been given in charity very nicely. After receiving their blessings and their permission, the king actually performs any kind of fire sacrifice. So Bali Maharaj actually had done everything. He had taken the permission, the blessings, and given so much in charity already to all the brahmanas. So much charity he had given. And he had fed his entire, kingdom. He had given them such big and sumptuous feast. Everyone was completely satisfied. So by taking their blessings, their permission, then Bali Maharaj started doing the yajna. But at that very moment when he started, at that time, Vamanadev walked in and he said, Bhiksham Dehi. That means there is still one person who is wanting something from Bali Maharaj. So therefore, Bali Maharaj got up from the sacrificial arena, and he got up from the sacrifice because he wanted to fulfill the desire of this little Brahmana boy. Because if even one person is unsatisfied, the king will not get the benefit of performing that particular yajna. That is the verdict of the Shastra. So that is why the kings were so careful in giving in proper charity. So thus, when Vamanadev asked for bhiksha, for charity, Bali Maharaj immediately got up and he walked out of the sacrificial arena and he came and he was just stunned. He was stunned and he was mesmerized by seeing the beauty of this beautiful Lord Vamana. So tender, so delicate. He was looking like a bloomed golden lotus flower. So beautiful, so exotic looking. He was as brilliant as millions and millions of suns combined together. As if, so many suns had arisen together and so bright, so effulgent. Lord Vamanadev was looking. Bali Maharaj was completely mesmerized and he said, "Yes, my dear Lord, what can I do for you?" And then, of course, we know how Vamanadev, he asked for 3 steps of land. And then Bali Maharaj said, "You with your tiny, tender lotus feet, tiny, tiny lotus feet, how much land can you get? What can you get in 3 steps of land? It's impossible to get anything more. So why don't you ask for, little pretty, pretty girls, or you ask for, as much as land you want. You ask for big, big palaces. You ask for a complete planet. I can give you an entire planet. Why are you asking for 3 steps?" So then Vamanadev just smiled very graciously at Bali Maharaj and said, "My dear Bali Maharaj, you already have conquered 2 worlds. You've got the Bhuloka and you've got this, you've got the Pataloka also. And now you're desiring Swargaloka. Are you satisfied? You are the, owner of so much already. But you're not satisfied. You're wanting more. So I just want to be satisfied with my 3 steps. You just give me only 3 steps." Of course, this has a very deep meaning. This statement by Vamanadev has a very deep meaning. That, of course, we can never be satisfied. Our desire, once we feel that, okay, I want to become a millionaire. After becoming a millionaire, we want to become a billionaire, then a trillionaire. Then the desire keeps going on and on and on. We never feel satisfied. Our desires never feel, okay, now we can relax. Okay, I have achieved everything that I want. I got nothing more to achieve. Does that ever come? Does that feeling ever come? Never comes. We always feel that we have to just keep getting more. We have to keep rising higher and higher and higher and higher. That is material world. And what is spiritual world? Spiritual world, there is a fight for becoming lower and lower and lower and lower and lower, trying to be the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. That is spiritual life. And in material life, we want to become the master, the owner, and the owner, and the owner. That's what we want to keep doing in the material world. So thus, Vamanadev said, there is never a satiation. There's never that a point will come of saturation that, yes, now I got what I want. I don't want anything else. That situation will never come in this material world. Will never be there. So Vamanadev is meaning by this that therefore, what can we do to get that kind of feeling? How can we cultivate that kind of feeling that we don't want anything else in this world? And that answer is also given through this pastime of Vamanadev by the action of Bali Maharaj. That when he, Atamanivedanam, when Bali Maharaj completely surrendered everything to the lotus feet of Vamanadev, and then asked him to place his 3rd foot on his head, that is complete surrender. So only when we do have complete surrender to the Supreme Lord, that is the point of our saturation. That is the point that we don't want anything else. because we are completely satisfied under the tender, loving, delicate lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We feel completely satisfied, completely full, nothing more to achieve beyond this. We realize that, which Bali Maharaj did. Bali Maharaj